Due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, how does this sound to your ears? Hashtag RNC MKE 2024. Let's call this the countdown to the RNC Thursday.
It sounds terrible. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I am not a fan. Hey, Crudy. What's going on? Evan on the board, our fair audience. This is a terrible, terrible idea.
We'll tell you the latest developments. And Dom's not going to like them, but I like them just fine, man. The political universe coming to our backyard. But Dom, more importantly, a Packer Hall of Famer joining us on the air today for a really big announcement. And it's coming up in like 20 minutes. The Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown.
Nice.
Are you familiar?
I am.
He's a big
I
deal.
watched a little ball back then, and I believe he had quite a, did some hamburger commercials for a while, if I recall.
The Gilbert Burger. I mean, we should all, in this lifetime, have a burger named after us like Gilbert Brown
Yeah,
does.
right.
The Gilbert Burger.
You know, there was a question, where's the beef? It all went on the Gilbert burger.
I heard that thing was ginormous. I never tried to actually eat a Gilbert Burger, but I bet Gilbert did.
Yeah, we'll find out. 4:30.
Now, Gilbert came down to the studios on Brady Street once upon a time. He and Earl Ingram are good buddies.
Oh, nice.
And I will tell you, Earl is nearly as chunky as the Gravedigger these days. But more, that's the Gravedigger is slim.
Tell
way
me
down.
more about other people's weight.
He is slim way down.
And you?
A few pounds. I was feeling a little slender today.
Oh,
Kind of felt.
Yeah.
Got on the scale, looked down, and wasn't quite as felt as I thought, but felt good. Better to feel good than to look good.
Feeling good and looking good. Gilbert Brown losing some weight, huh? All right.
He is a funny guy. You're going to like him. If
Yeah,
you've
man,
never
can't
met
wait
him.
to-
I
don't
was a
recall.
big fan, man. I was a sideline reporter kid from small market lacrosse at Packers games. And he was a young player out of Kansas, man. The Gravedigger. And he had this first run with the Packers. Then he blew out his knee. And he told me, we've gotten to know each other pretty well in the last couple of weeks. Gilbert told me he ballooned up to 440, dude.
Ooh, damn.
And when he came back to the Packers, they had Russell Maryland on the team. And Russell Maryland was a stud. And anyways, the Gravedigger told me, he said, I walked up to him first day of training camp and said, I'm coming for your job. And on the last day of training camp, he got it.
Ooh, nice.
He was very proud of that he came back to the Packers. He dropped 100 pounds, got back into playing shape, rejoined the Packers, had a successful sort of a second career,
Yeah.
and then retired on his own terms.
Yeah, that's cool.
He is a super cool guy. Big announcement coming at 4:30. Gilbert Brown, Earl Ingram joining us here. But the big announcement of the day, Dom, the RNC, the Republican National Committee, the GOP, is dropping a presidential debate in the MKE. You must be so happy, so proud, so excited about the political happenings in your backyard.
I'm less concerned about a presidential debate. That's okay. You know, it's just when the Nazis and the Proud Boys and the white nationalists come marching through town with their Confederate flags, that's going to be a little different. But, I'll take a debate. I don't think those types are really down with the actual politics of it.
Well, here's the breaking news at the Journal-Sentinel. Corrine Hess and Bill Glauber reporting Milwaukee will host a Republican presidential primary debate. RNC Chair Rhoda McDaniel, she dropped the Romney, but she confirms, along with the 2024 Republican National Convention, Milwaukee will also host a presidential primary debate, bringing even more national exposure to the city. Starting to like that city, Milwaukee. Republicans taking a shine to it, Dom. After some speculation, newly reelected Republican National Committee Chair Rhoda McDaniel confirmed today a debate will be a precursor to the 2024 convention. Here was sort of her sly, coy statement. You should be able to expect that we'll have a debate here in Milwaukee, McDaniel said during the host committee kickoff event at 3rd Street Market Hall. McDaniel wouldn't say if the debate would be the first for the candidates. Last week, RNC host committee secretary Gerald Randall told a whitey-righty host, an inferior product, we are also prepping for one of the national debates, presidential debates. But O'Donnell later tweeted that a number of Republican officials called to tell him no decision had yet been made about Milwaukee and whether or not it would host a Republican presidential debate. Well, at least he corrected the record. That's a change. He gets it wrong all the time without ever doing so, Dom. But now it's official, according to Ronna McDaniel. And when asked about it Thursday, she laughed and said the host committee was groaning, but then confirmed a debate would happen in the 414 in the city of Milwaukee, Dom. And if it follows a similar pattern to 16, when Cleveland hosted the Republican National Convention, we know, Dom, because we were there in mid-July partying our asses off that year, Republicans kicked off the presidential debate cycle in August of 2015 in Cleveland. That was the first debate. Now, if the Republicans do the same cycle, that means we've got a Republican primary debate in the MKE this summer, fella.
This summer.
August. Man, summer of 2023.
Quick. It's coming so quick. I'm still kind of like looking at the spring elections, and we're already now talking about a debate in Milwaukee, a presidential debate this summer. Crazy.
It is. Dom, I'm looking forward to it. It will be. I want it early and circus-like, because there'll be lots of entrees into the race. Donald Trump's not clearing the decks. Nikki Haley will be in, and Pompeo, and Mike Pence. He'll think he's got a chance, but of course we know he doesn't. And then, of course,
Mike Pence. You think Mike Pence is going to go?
Oh, I think he will. He will. He'll see a lane. He'll think God's calling him. But the most important one, Dom,
that's just mother, Mike.
Well, it's somebody calling him. DeSantis. DeSantis is the real question mark. Will DeSantis be in the race by then? I think he will. I think they'll all be in by later this spring. And by this summer, Dom, Milwaukee will be chock full of presidential hopefuls on the GOP side. Everybody wants a piece of Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'm sure there's fine people on both sides.
I'm less convinced there will be fine people. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
This timing, looking back, reminiscing about the timing of the presidential election cycle, reminds me that Scott Walker was on the stage at the first Republican debate in Cleveland back in August of 2015.
The one that we're talking about here, yes, the one that we're referencing. He was on that stage.
Held on when we talk about the Iowa Freedom Summit hosted by Citizens United, the people that put money into politics. Well, Dom, that was in January of 2015. A warm day in Des Moines.
It was, man. It was beautiful down there that day.
And Trump showed up, and Scott Walker was on top of the world at that time. But Walker didn't even declare until after the budget was signed. I believe July 15th, I was at the budget signing. I was not with Walker and Marie Butina in Waukesha when he actually announced for the presidency. But he was on the debate stage. I believe it was August 6th of 2015. And by September 21st of 2015, he was already out. He was out of the race. Scott Walker had already blown through $40 million. He was in debt when he got out.
This guy was setting up, lights and audio and stages at Bob's Diner. I mean, he was just spending money left and right, fistfuls. I mean, everybody was down trying to get some of that sweet, sweet cash.
Well, he's the Prince of Darkness. Here in the Solidarity Realty Studios here in Madison, Wisconsin, I don't even call them the Devil Radio Studios anymore. We're killing the brand tomorrow, 6 p.m. Devil Radio is dead. But here on the doors of the soon-to-be former Devil Radio Studios, the Solidarity Realty Studios, I've got one of my favorite bumper stickers. Scott Walker worships Satan. And as a 2016 campaign slogan, I don't think it served him well.
I don't think that was actually Scott Walker's slogan at the time.
It wasn't the official slogan. Because
what was his American Revival, or what was
our
his,
American Revolution?
No,
it was a 527B or something.
Okay.
Our wannabe Ronald Reagan, whatever it was. I mean, all he really wanted to be is the second coming of Ronald Reagan. Didn't he get married on like Reagan's birthday? Serve jelly beans at the wedding? I mean, it's pretty twisted stuff.
He's got the dream job now, being the groundskeeper or whatever his job is over Young America's Young Freedom.
Cashing checks, baby.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Well, let me give the audience, Don, just a little preview of what's coming this summer, the first presidential debate, because the only known candidate on the Republican side, it's a Republican debate coming. Donald Trump today did a sprawling interview and discuss a few of his potential rivals today on the
I'm sure
Hewitt show.
Hugh Hewitt? I'm sure Trump very complimentary of his mega comrades.
Well, let me get this started. May not get it all in now, but let's see how it goes. Former President Trump on Thursday took swipes, plural swipes, mini swipes, at a slew of possible 2024 GOP rivals, calling his former UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, overly ambitious, because apparently she's getting in the race mid-month, and accusing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin of being ungrateful.
They're insufficiently loyal.
Trump spoke for half an hour with conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, addressing some of his potential challengers for the Republican presidential nomination and refusing to commit to endorsing the party's eventual nominee. Tom, who's that remind you of?
How very Dan Kelly of him.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You're listening to the Devil's Advocates. I'm a little excited. RNC debate, Republican debate coming to Milwaukee this summer. Let the good times roll, Milwaukee.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The Devil's Advocates.
A New York State court already suspended Giuliani's law license.
Yes.
Still a lawyer as of today. During several hours of virtual testimony on Monday and Tuesday, Giuliani pulls back the sleeve and he noted to himself, why, I'm wearing 2 watches. I mean, I've done some absent-minded things, Tom, but I've never in my life worn 2 watches.
Oh, come on, man. He's an attorney. That way you can bill twice as much.
Want even more? Go to our website, civicmedia.us.
Stories come to life at your local parks and forests. They're places of wonder, and they're closer than you think. Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Weather brought to you by Madison's first Shop Local bus tour, presented by Madison Top Company and created by Dane Buy Local. Galentine is set for Sunday, February 12th from noon until 4. Bus seating is limited, so visit DaneBuyLocal.com and get your tickets today.
Here's your Devil Radio forecast. A wind chill advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Lows around 8 below tonight under partly cloudy skies. Northwesterly winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs approaching 6 above tomorrow. Mainly clear skies. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 2 above. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 23 degrees.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon. You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP. You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
When they go low, we get high. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocate radio show. Make sure you stick around today. Former Green Bay Packer Gilbert Brown and Civic Media's own Earl Ingram going to join us at the bottom of the hour.
That means like 10, 12 minutes from now. And Dom, the Republican Party, going to join us this summer for a presidential debate.
Creedy, the sound that we played of Scott Walker, was that from that debate or one of those debates? Could have been.
Well, he only made it to like two,
right?
Maybe three. I mean, between August 6th and his eventual dropping out on September 21st, what is that, like 6-7 weeks?
I mean, I don't know if
his
you're
campaign
going for
was 71 days. He was only in the race for 71 days.
If you're at the job interview, I just don't know if listing the entirety of all the things you are not qualified to do would encourage anyone to vote for you for something that you think you are qualified to do.
A guy named
just saying
Ryan Murray helped prop Wanker for that debate. And Ryan's like, oh, and I'm reading old articles, expected aspirational articles, like he's going to do so well. The debate format suits him until he goes up against Donald Trump. I mean, no offense, but Donald Trump's a little different than, let's say, Mary Burke, who had been his toughest challenger to date at that point. What, Barrett or Mary Burke? Who was tougher? Neither one was exactly a bare-knuckle brawler like Donald Trump.
It's tough. Well, no doubt. But, I mean, who is, right? And it was maybe it was a one-shot deal, but, maybe Trump's trying to do the Rocky II and come back and do it again. But it's a different, it's a known quality now, right? We know who Trump is. And I don't think that, it's going to have the same impact that it may have once had.
Dominic, we always knew who Trump was. We always knew he was a BS artist, a grifter. I mean, come on. Here's what he said about some of his potential opponents with the Hugh Hewitt on Righty Whitey Talk Radio earlier today. The former president, and I use that term generously, told Hewitt he believes Haley, DeSantis, Youngkin, and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo should not run against him because of Trump's previous relationships with them, though Trump acknowledged that would probably not stop them. Didn't he hold that against a bunch of his opponents like Scott Walker? Walker came to my office and he begged me for money, and I gave it to him, and then he gave me a plaque. I mean, seriously, when you are Ron DeSantis, because this moment's going to come when these two will be on the stage, maybe in Milwaukee, and here's what he's going to say. There's more here. Let me read a little from this article. I want to get to the good one. Yeah, I would say that, but you know how life works, and I know how politics work, and the politics is a microcosm, but even more vicious of life. So, I've helped all these people. I took Mike out of nothing. I believe he always said he'd never run against the president, Trump added. And, time goes by, and then they want to run because they're ambitious people, but they're polling very poorly. Where's the DeSantis part? I want to get to DeSantis. It's near the bottom.
Trump was similarly critical of DeSantis. Ron DeSantis got elected because of me. You remember, he had nothing. He was dead. He was leaving the race. He came over and he begged me for an endorsement, Trump said, even claiming DeSantis was crying at the time.
That is the ultimate sign of Republican weakness. Republican men, and by Republican men, I mean entirely white men, and Senator Tim Scott, they don't cry. Republican men don't cry. They don't show the emotion. There is only one acceptable emotion: anger.
I mean, crying DeSantis, is that what he's going to start calling him versus the sanctimonious? I mean, it's a little shorter. Maybe he'll change it up. The former president has in recent days ramped up his attacks on DeSantis, accusing the governor of rewriting history over how he responded to the coronavirus pandemic and calling him a rhino globalist. Most polls have shown Trump and DeSantis comfortably ahead of the rest of the field in the hypothetical GOP primary. DeSantis has pulled ahead of Trump in some polls, including one released last week, polling GOP primary voters in New Hampshire. But Trump is currently the only declared candidate in the field. Therefore, he's the leader, Crudy. and his dedicated base of voters gives him a steady floor of support in a primary, particularly if several candidates splinter the rest of the electorate. Trump has held few events since announcing his candidacy in November, appearing last weekend in New Hampshire and South Carolina for the first campaign speeches outside of Florida. Very poorly received, I would note. Very, very, very boring, very monotone. The former president told Hewitt that his children would not be part of the campaign this time around after his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, played a key role in 2016 and 2020. So the answer is Jared won't be involved, and I don't want them, Trump said. I want them to go out and have a nice life. What do you say when you're like insulting someone? Hey, jackass, have a nice life. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks, kids. But of course, Jared, he got the big payout, man, $2 billion from the Saudis. Why would he want that crappy job?
Well, they're also trying to disassociate from the old man, right? Because there's a good chance the old man, could be under indictment, and how any one of the kids could be under indictment at any given time. All of them were involved in the Trump org. They've all been banned from nonprofit work. Dom, I'm telling you, Trump will be the GOP nominee after he destroys Ron DeSantis on the stage in Milwaukee and every other comer, because they're not ready for Trump. I could debate Trump because I'd bare knuckle his ass. I would not cry.
I'm about ready to make a big, bold prediction.
What's that?
Donald Trump will not be on the debate stage in Milwaukee.
I think you're wrong. I mean, you're wrong so often. It's. I've got a flow chart in the back here of all the times you're wrong. I'm putting this on the chart for later reference. I predict he'll be on the stage, and I think the chances. I was going to throw in like a Detroit Lions Super Bowl chances, but of course we know those are zero. So come back with us. Gilbert Brown, he's the gravedigger, and Civic Media's own Earl Ingram Jr. He's a friend of ours. They got a big announcement. You're going to want to hear it next.
Today, I believe that I'm being called to lead by helping to clear the field. I will suspend my campaign immediately.
Like, wow, Scoob, it's Devil Radio.
Rebel Radio.
ABC News, I'm Morgan Norwood. It's been 30 years since the Family and Medical Leave Act was signed into law. At the White House, a ceremony celebrating the act that guarantees some workers 12 weeks of unpaid leave without the risk of losing their job. President Biden, who was senator at the time, says one of the arguments was that it would cause former President Bill Clinton, who signed the act into law in 1993, on hand for the ceremony. House Republicans voted to remove Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar from her foreign affairs.
Hey, Gilbert, can you hear me?
She made in a 2019 speech deemed anti-Semitic. Democrats called it political payback and say Omar apologized at the time. It's Groundhog Day.
4, 6, 6, 6, 7, 9.
Yeah.
June.
Hey, Gilbert, how are you?
That's not enough numbers, man.
Oh, you talking about the meeting or the passcode?
The meeting, the one where it got more numbers.
Okay, it's 847.
Hold on.
Yeah, I did send it to the email there, too.
4, 7, what else?
0289
0289
3447.
3447.
And I have the password if you need it.
And you got the password, right?
It says now need enter meeting passcode.
Okay, it's 466. That's right.
6.
I got 3 6.
Right, 7979.
Perfect. Hey, Earl, how you doing?
All right, can you see me?
No, I can't. Your camera's off. I can send you a quick little bingo here. Ask to start video. It should give you.
I got it.
Yeah. And then
What's
there's
going on,
the
Dominic?
figure himself. He can't hear you. Wait,
Okay.
yes, he should be able to hear you. Yeah.
All right.
There we go. Rock and roll.
Y'all boys is horrible.
Nah, you're with us. We got you.
Y'all boys is horrible. For real, man. For real. I ain't tech savvy at all.
You
But
did great.
You dummies, I tell you.
You did great. We got about just over a minute here to return.
Hey, Gilbert Brown live in living color. What's going on, Dominic?
I guess Dom doesn't like you, Earl.
Oh,
I can only hear you, Crudy.
No, we got you.
Well, Gilbert, I'm Crudy. I'm the one that's been talking to you in the red hat.
Okay, what's up, buddy?
Oh, there we
Hey,
go.
man.
Hey, I'm Dom. Hey, Earl, how you doing, buddy?
what's going on, Dom?
Good to see you, man.
Hey, so Gilbert, you're not the grave digger. You're the what now? What did he call you?
Jake. Is that what you said?
What did Crudy call you? Not the
The
grave
Undertaker.
digger. The Undertaker.
Yeah, the Undertaker.
Oh, come on.
The Undertaker, man.
I have said that wrong a couple times. I've had a career in professional wrestling, Gilbert.
20 seconds.
20
I
seconds.
went from the one lady called me the fridge. Now my homeboy called me the Undertaker.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dominic, right now we are joined by a Packer Hall of Famer. He is the gravedigger. He is Gilbert Brown. And he brought along our buddy Earl Ingram Jr., host right here on Civic Media every morning, 8 to 11 a.m. on WAUK, WGBW, and WISS. Gilbert, welcome. Earl, welcome, fellas.
Hey,
Are
guys.
you guys confused on who the star is here?
No, I'm fine. Thank you, though, Earl.
Hey, you know, Gilbert, my pal Dominic, that little guy right there, he also sees himself as something of a Detroit guy.
Who was that?
That guy,
Me,
the
man.
little guy.
Yeah, I was born in Livonia,
The
Gilbert.
dude, Livonia, that ain't Detroit, man.
It's the closest I can get.
Tell me when you get to the east and west side of Detroit, then you in Detroit, man. Livonia ain't got nothing.
He goes and stays with Cousin Joe up in Bloomington sometimes.
Oh, Rochester, yes.
That doesn't count either, does it?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Now, Gilbert, you've been away from the sport of football for some time, but you know my buddy Earl Ingram because you guys coached together in youth leagues in Milwaukee. How did this friendship form? And tell us a little bit about that, please.
Oh, sorry, it's a lag or something going on. I didn't get all that. What you say, brother? It was a lag.
Earl? How'd you know my buddy Earl here?
Well, Earl, man, first of all, I don't know Earl now. All that gray hair he got, oh my God. Look like he fell in a bowl of flour. do something with that wig, dog. Come on, man. You're making me look bad, brother. But anyway, me and Earl struck up a one hell of a friendship, man. I think going through these kids and teaching these kids tough love sometimes. As fathers, I'm sure Earl know this, is that we got on to be somebody else's fathers, if you get what I'm saying. And that's what we bonded by being out there with so many men that think they're grown men and trying to make them out of grown men. So me and Earl struck up one hell of a friendship, and I always like to say I love Earl because he keeps it real. He keeps it real, and I'm so ecstatic and so happy that Earl called me and asked me to be on his show because he's the star.
Well, Earl asked lots of people to be on his show, but let me ask you, Gilbert, you made a commitment not just to do it once. You're coming on Earl's show regular. You're coming on every Monday morning, 8 to 9 o'clock. Did Earl tell you this is An ongoing commitment?
Earl don't get the whole story out, man. Earl just try to give you tidbits of it, and then you bite. Then he tell you the whole story. So you fell in, and then he gonna help you up and say, "You okay? Are you okay?" Thanks,
So,
Earl.
The big announcement today, Gilbert, is that there will be a new show starring you and our pal Earl Ingram, and it's going to go live where Earl is live starting this Monday morning, February 6th, 8 to 9 a.m., and it will play out on WAUK 540 a.m. It will play out on WISS 1100 a.m. and 98.3 FM. And most importantly, I think our newest shiny station up in the Green Bay Fox Valley, WGBW 1590 AM and 97.9 FM. I got to keep thinking. I got to keep them straight, Gilbert. And then each, we are going to play your show in every market that Civic Media covers. Saturdays, it's going to be between 1 and 2 o'clock, right after the Charlie Barron's Cripes cast. Then it will be Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger and our pal Earl Ingram, although Earl must have got called by Mama. He's gone for a minute. So, Gilbert, you're going to have to carry the show. There's going to be mornings like this with Earl, man. What are you going to carry the show? Is it all going to be football?
I think we're going to do a little bit of both, man. It's going to be a lot going on. See, Earl's show, like he got a 1969 Charger, fast, just beautiful and fast. And then they put the nitrous in it. That will be me for an hour to bring, to make Earl look good, because Earl ain't the cutest person I've seen in the world. So I'm gonna try to help him out as much as I can. But we're gonna have an awesome show with the Gravedigger. OMG.
Folks, you are listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, nearly the best radio show on this network. Starting Monday, we've got a brand new one. It is Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger, and the host will be Gilbert Brown. He's our fine guest, and Earl, if Earl comes back and joins us, Earl could be a part here as well. Launches Monday morning. We'll play out across the network on Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m. And Gilbert, if our pal ever comes back around, I'll ask you, because I know Earl doesn't always talk about football. Hell, I don't even know if Earl understands the sport of football. I know he did some coaching, but I've always wondered, is Earl really a football guy? Does Earl even understand this sport that you so love, Gilbert?
Earl knows the X's and O's of it. He can't. He just gonna pop back on. What you had to do? Change your shirt, Earl?
No, man. I had a power outage. I don't know what's going on, man.
You ain't paid your bill. That's the power outage.
What, are you living in Texas these days, Earl, man? I didn't hear we had brownouts in Milwaukee.
Yeah, man. So you asked the question about whether or not, I knew.
Well, apparently now the internet
about football.
Oh no, I don't think Earl paid.
I was the kind of guy who got in the game. I was the kind of guy who got in the game once the game was out of control.
Man,
So,
y'all need to delete Earl, because hey man, pay your bill, man, so we can listen to what you're saying. We can't hear you. No, you keep cutting it out.
Oh, let me stop.
Okay, that should be it. All right.
Yes, but somebody's controlling over me. Stop it. Now everybody's muted, man. Evan, can
playing
you
with the thing? Who playing with it?
Oh, there we go. So we got
who
a
playing with
panel, and between the 5 of us, I don't think any of us understand the tech, but we got the Gravedigger. He's Gilbert Brown. He's got a new show right here on the Civic Media Network. We got his grandpa, Earl Ingram Jr., going to host that show along with Gilbert Brown. And I got my Detroit loving buddy Dominic here as well. Gilbert, this guy, he takes all the Detroit action. And this is the first game he didn't have to mortgage his house to be a Detroit Lions fan.
It's been a tough couple of years, Gilbert, but it was a pretty good season, man. And we came into Green Bay and I think we're eventually going to make Aaron Rodgers retire. So you can thank Detroit Lions for that.
The Detroit Lions, I need to send y'all some kitty litter, man. I'm gonna send y'all some kitty litter.
Gilbert, you ever lose to the Lions? Because I
Dude
know
walked up to me today. We're the Lions. We're awesome. I said, dog, act like you've been there before. Oh, my bad. You have not. Problem. But I give you what, man. The Detroit Lions are a upcoming team. They got all the Green Bay rejects over there, and they trying their best to do something. So I'm gonna let them have it. But also, you also got to understand something, Dom. I am a lion. Just so even when they had Barry Sanders, I am a lion killer. Just so you know.
It was bad.
And what do you think
it was bad.
Gilbert, what do you think of the Bears? We got friends that listen.
They suck.
Chicago. Yeah, they do, don't they?
They sure do.
You really own the Bears and the division.
Oh yeah,
for most of your career, did you not?
Bear killer too. Yes, I am. Punish them. Oh my God. I had we played them twice a year. I have never lost to the Bears. Look it up. Look it up. And if for some strange reason they did beat us in that tender, I didn't.
You didn't play. You were out that game.
I probably was hurt or something. I had a passion for them Bears, man. But I will give you this though. Monday morning, played the Bears. I'm gonna give them that. We were sore as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because they love to run. They tried to establish the run, which they never could against us. Ever. You know.
Now, Gilbert, as a larger strapping lad like myself, I know you've been known throughout your career, sometimes for your weight. And I told this story before you joined us, the one you told me. After you hurt your knee, you had sort of a split career with the Packers. How big did you get, man, during your downtime, your injured time?
Well, I think it was the 2000 season when I was out. And at the time, when I was out, I had probably ballooned up to 410 pounds, 415, somewhere in there.
And Gilbert, I know you played. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you played at about 340, depending on the week and what was for dinner last night. What do you weigh now, man? You look slim. You look lighter than me right about now.
I still got about 3 and some change on me. You know, I mean, TV don't do you no justice though, man. Especially in those white jerseys. Oh my God. We really dislike wearing them white jerseys. I mean, even some of the skinny guys, you know, them white jerseys just show all your stomach.
Now, when you come to town, does Earl make you get up and do the steps with him? He gets up and walks up at the ball, I think. Earl, where do you go and do your morning walking?
Well, I haven't been doing a lot of morning walking since I've been doing the morning radio show. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. So it's about down the stairs to the refrigerator, out to the car. But clearly, Crudy, Gilbert and I are going to make people forget all about all of the sports talk shows that are on all over this nation. Gilbert and I have created a great bond. And, you know, we've got a lot of things in common. We love our communities, our neighborhoods, where we've come from, and we both work really hard to try to do something to make them better places. And one of the things that I really want people to know about what Gilbert and I will be doing is, you know, it's under the helmet with Gilbert Brown. So people didn't know Gilbert Brown is a college All-American. And so Gilbert is a very, very bright man who is in tune to all the things that are going on around him. He just hasn't been asked a lot of those questions. We're going to be dealing with a bunch of different things, including football. But more than anything else, people are going to get a chance to really know Gilbert Brown, the real Gilbert Brown. And you know, the Gravedigger's his nickname, but Gilbert Brown has a heart big as gold.
Gilbert, let me ask you one last question. Something I admire about our friend Earl is he's got a big heart. Sir, I know you've got the Gilbert Brown Foundation. We'd like to help lift that up as well through this activity through this Under the Helmet program. Gilbert, what sort of work do you do through your charity?
My Gilbert Brown Foundation it goes by gilbertbrownfoundation.org if you want to check it out. We got over 100. It can go from helping out Make-A-Wish to doing stuff for St. Jude, doing stuff for the inner city kids, free football camps, different things like that. Just going across the state, doing a lot of different things. But the great thing about my foundation is most of the times I have some of the old Packers with me. Them guys, they just want to get out the house. You know what I'm saying? So they'll come back to Wisconsin and do some things with me. And it's pretty awesome, man, just to have that type of pull when I walk into a place.
The Gravedigger, Gilbert Brown, he's a Packer Hall of Famer. And now he is the newest host on the Civic Media Network. He and Earl Ingram launch Monday, February 6th, 8 to 9 a.m. on the Earl Ingram Show. Listen live on WAUK or WISS or WGBW, or go to the Civic Media app. And if you miss it live, we're going to replay it all across the network every Saturday from 1 to 2 o'clock. Gilbert Brown, man, very excited to have you on board. Thank you so much for your partnership. And you and Earl, man, you guys make good radio.
We're going to try to make it work, baby.
Make them smile on a Monday morning, getting into work with Gravedigger and Earl Ingram. We'll try to make you smile going home today. We are the Devil's Advocates. Come back. More of us.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, man. For today it is. Monday morning will be a bigger thing, but we'll have Earl on good studio.
This is throwing me off because it was lagging. I would hear half of your question, and I'd be trying to
well, you killed it. You still
it worked out okay. Points. There was a couple of little dropouts in yours as well.
Okay.
I don't know if you got like a Ethernet, like a laptop or something that could plug in, but this was lagging just a little bit. Even right now, it just dropped out for just a second there.
Maybe it's just too many people on here. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I don't know, man. We want you sounding sexy on Monday, though.
Hey, we'll do that. We'll do that.
We'll be ready on Monday. We'll be ready on Monday. I'll hit you later.
Okay, babe. Pay your
Thanks,
bill,
Earl.
man.
Thank you, Gilbert. We'll talk real soon.
Okay, take care, guys.
See you Saturday. Roxanne's excited to see you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll text you the number, the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, brother.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bus driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the whoops. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's your Devil Radio forecast. A wind chill advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Lows level off around 8 below tonight under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mainly sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 6 above. Lows dip down to about 2 above tomorrow night. Partly cloudy skies. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 23 degrees.
I think it just seemed to go up.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin Uprising. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines open for your take. 844-967-2789.
Once again, Crudy didn't look at the clock. I thought you were stealing my time again, man. You know how you do it. Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram Jr., the big announcement right here on the airwaves. They're launching Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger, of course, is Gilbert Brown. If you don't know he's a Packer Hall of Famer, you better ask your grandpa or anybody. Everybody knows. My wife knows who Gilbert Brown is. Me, less impressed by. And we'll make sure Earl's in the studio with good tech on Monday morning, so they both sound super sexy. They'll make you smile on the way to work. And if you miss them, if you don't get Earl live on Monday mornings, get the Civic Media app. You can listen to any of our fine programming across the network. And we're going to make sure to replay it for you on Saturdays. And I think the audience probably by now aware. We got another big signing into the stable of civic media talent, Dom. Charlie Barron's dropping the Cripes cast. Charlie Barron's joins us on the big show tomorrow, 5:30, to talk about his new efforts and our partnership, the exclusive home of the Cripes cast and the exclusive home of Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger. Don't call him the Undertaker, man. He's still a big guy. Crush my ass.
Come on, man. Those guys have a special relationship. It's going to be good radio. I look forward to tuning in and checking those guys out.
Both really good guys with big hearts, and they both do a ton of charitable work, especially in the city of Milwaukee, where Earl's lived most of his life. And Gilbert did some coaching, not just on the voluntary level, but also semi-pro team, something like that, once upon a time. Once a Packer, always a Packer, though, man. I love me some Gilbert Brown. Young guy up in lacrosse days covering Gilbert Brown. Sideline reporter, Crudy.
A little nostalgic for you, man.
I told him
you never to meet your heroes, but in this case, he's a pretty cool cat.
Well, you met your hero. You're sitting here on the airwaves with him right now.
Is that what it was?
Something like that.
The last guy into the house. Tell me more about it, man.
Dominic, with all this non-political stuff happening, and, I'm happy about it. I think hopefully it will continue to help, let's say, discovery. New people find what we're doing here at the Civic Media Network and the different sort of programming, because it's not uniform. It's not homogenous, certainly. Earl's show doesn't sound anything like this show, and our show doesn't sound anything like As Goes Wisconsin or the Todd Alba show or any of the fine shows all across the network. Dueling Tangents. Certainly don't. I could not model the stylings of Matt Flynn. I am not that direct. Only Matt Flynn can be that direct. So anyways, there is a plethora of hosts to choose from, and some are less political than others. And we appreciate those that, Charlie Barron's is about as Wisconsin as it gets. And the Gravedigger is about as Packer as it gets, man. I'm very excited to have them both join us. And Charlie, again, going to be on our big show tomorrow at 5:30. Join us.
Well done. Lots of work to put all that together. Congratulations to the whole team over at Civic Media.
I'm still going to pat myself. Well, first I'm going to pat Earl on the back. It's Earl's relationship, but I've had to manage it. I've made some phone calls on behalf of this partnership.
I've talked on the phone.
I did much phone calling with Gilbert Brown. He's a super cool guy, though. Yeah. I mean, if you got to get stuck, and Gilbert and I talked earlier today, 45 minutes an hour. Gilbert and I talked yesterday. It was an hour. And it's not like we're going over business or something, like 38 seconds of the conversation is us working out whatever little detail we called each other back and forth for. And then we're just talking about life and football.
BSing,
he's a car guy. He's a Mopar guy. He's a Detroit guy, but not really. He said he's got 3 flags on the flagpole in Detroit. He's got the Packer flag, the Kansas Jayhawk flag, and of course the American flag. And I felt like saying, in that order, Gilbert? Like which one's flying at the top, right? But you got to be a brave, big, strong, strapping fella to be flying a Packer flag in Detroit.
Well, yeah, I mean, former great Packer. I think you earn the right to fly that flag wherever you live.
Who's gonna mess mess with a guy called the Gravedigger, right?
If that's your real name, Undertaker. I can't believe you called him the Undertaker, man.
Did I do that to his face or just in an email? When did I even do that? Dom, the important political thing in the Washington Post apparently noticed the Supreme Court race right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Buddy, why don't you tell the audience what the newest out of our backyard might be?
Patrick Marley, formerly of the Milwaukee
We know that
Journal
guy.
Sentinel. Yeah, stepping up big. Local kid, make it good over at the Washington Post. Voters could tip Wisconsin's Supreme Court left on abortion and gerrymandered. Yes, voters, that's us. Let's do this. As Patrick Marley reports, for 14 years, 14 long years, conservatives have controlled the Wisconsin Supreme Court, issuing decisions that upheld limits on unions, affirmed a voter ID law, expanded gun rights, curbed the powers of the Democratic governor, banned absentee ballot drop boxes, and established political districts that ensured Republican dominance in the state legislature. Now, a reliably conservative justice is retiring, and voters will decide in April whether liberals or conservatives have a majority. It's a decision that will have sweeping consequences, as the court in the coming years is likely to decide whether to uphold the state's near total ban on abortion. It also could wade into disputes over gerrymandering and the outcome of the next presidential election. Although the race is technically nonpartisan, court candidates in recent years have worked closely with political parties, touted endorsements from advocacy groups, and telegraphed how they would rule on cases. The issues in the campaign mirror those from November's midterm elections, when the liberal candidates concentrated on abortion rights and voting rules, and the conservative candidates arguing for judicial restraint and signaling their opposition to gay rights. That sounds about right. They hate the gays. This year's spending could surpass the $10 million record set in 2020, with much of that money coming from dark money groups that run the hard edge ads attacking the would-be justices.
Dominic, we could have $50 million spent on this race. We could blow it out of the water. We could double the prior spending, perhaps triple.
We've talked about some of the comments of these judges, of course. We have Janet Protasiewicz. She is a, liberal, I guess we'd call them. Everett Mitchell, the other liberal. Dan Kelly and Jennifer Doro, taking swipes at each other. Dan Kelly, much like the president today himself, said he couldn't guarantee that he would endorse Doro if she won. That's like Trump said he couldn't guarantee he would endorse another Republican candidate for the GOP presidential if it's not him.
Dominic, 3 of the 4 candidates said in interviews that they fear partisan affiliations could tarnish the image of the court, but said there is no way to win without the help of the parties and the devil's advocates, of course. The 4th, Doro, declined interview requests, but touted her Republican ties over the years.
Yeah.
She didn't have that issue, right? Didn't mind us tarnishing herself with the GOP mantle. Proud Republican, Dom. So Dan Kelly is the real conservative, and Jennifer Doro loves her some Republicans. So that means you, our fine audience, might want to consider voting for Everett Mitchell or Janet Protasiewicz. You choose. We'll come back together after the primary and win an election.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Looking for a new pair of glasses? Ula Eyewear has you covered. As one of Madison's only local, independent, and family-owned eyewear stores, Ula has been connecting people with fun, unique, and stylish frames for nearly 25 years. With glasses, readers, and sunglasses for customers of all ages, you'll find a variety of frames to fit your style and price points to fit your lifestyle. So don't wait. Head to Ula Eyewear now at Hilldale Shopping Center and find your pair of glasses. Ula Eyewear, uniquely you.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus, W224 EG Madison, always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. So far, no agreement on solving the debt ceiling crisis, even after President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy sit down yesterday.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's expecting a phone call from Biden to set up their next meeting on the debt limit. But he's also making clear that Republicans won't budge on their demands.
Whichever way they want to talk about it, I'm very clear. We will not pass a clean debt ceiling here without some form of spending reform.
Biden saying it was, quote, a good meeting and that talks would continue. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, Washington.
House Republicans voted to block Representative Ilhan Omar from sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee over her tweets in 2019 that were seen as anti-Semitic. Democrats called it a political stunt. The wave of winter storms has led to tens of thousands of power outages in Texas and 8 deaths due to accidents on icy roads. The storm system stretches to the East Coast. Stocks closed higher due to a surge for tech shares, including Facebook's parent company, Meta. This is ABC News. An investigation is underway in New Jersey after a newly elected councilwoman from the town of Sayreville was shot to death in her car. Police say she was shot several times just steps away from her home. The White House this week announcing it will end the COVID-19 national and public health emergencies on May 11th. Now there are questions about how that can affect the White House plan to forgive student loan debt. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
The Supreme Court is going to hear a case on that very soon. And the administration has been saying that the education secretary is relieving debt for millions of Americans because of the hardship faced because of the pandemic. The question is, does lifting the emergency undermine their argument? The White House insists it does not, but a lot of people still worried about what this might mean for potential relief that could be coming their way.
There was no winner in last night's Powerball drawing. The jackpot now worth an estimated $700 million. The next drawing is coming up on Saturday. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Stay informed with progressive news and talk on Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, McFarland's choice for essential radio. I am once again asking you to listen to Devil Radio 92.7 FM. I believe they have the moral fiber to create a progressive movement in Wisconsin and indeed in America.
From the Civic Media News Desk, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what you need to know. Jennifer Darrow's first radio ads are on the air, touting her stewardship of the Waukesha Christmas Parade trial. No word on how much she's spending. Janet Protasiewicz launched a $700,000 TV ad campaign last week, and a group called Fair Courts America is spending $240,000 on radio ads urging support for Dan Kelly. The Wisconsin Supreme Court primary is the 21st. A man from northwest Wisconsin gets 30 years in prison for beating another man to death with a hammer last year. It happened last March in Osceola. Firefighters found the victim's body in a burning mobile home. A Polk County judge handed down the sentence this week. In sports, Marquette beat Villanova last night, 64-73. The Bucks host the Clippers tonight, and the Badgers are at Ohio State. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
Hey everybody, how we doing? I'm Charlie Barons, inviting you to join me Saturdays and or Sundays at noon. It's a horse apiece, whatever you decide. We're doing the Cripes Cast, where we talk to people for and or from the Midwest, and it's more fun than a six-pack of Jolly Good. Okay, the pride of Random Lake, that Jolly Good is. Anyway, it's on your Civic Media station and the Civic Media app. And do me a favor, tell your folks I says hi. Okay, real good.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Do you have flex or health savings account money available? The team at Ula Eyewear would love to help you put those dollars towards something stylish, useful, and fun. Ula Eyewear has been family-owned and operated for nearly 25 years. Ula prides itself on pairing excellent customer service with unique quality and eye-catching eyewear options for everyone. So invest in you and the eyewear you want by visiting Ula Eyewear today at Hilldale Shopping Center in Madison. Learn more about their selection and reframed initiative at ulaeyewear.com.
Pat Slattery here of Slattery's Automotive Service. Winter's coming, and that means now's the time for you to start thinking about snow tires. Travel winter roads with ease on Hakkapeliitta snow tires. Hakkapeliitta is the top-of-the-line snow tire, made in Finland and eco-friendly. If it's snowing, they'll get you there. Give me a call at 608-848-6123 to get your set. Slattery's Automotive Service, your trusted choice for local service and repairs for all your automotive needs.
This is Pat Greitlow from Up North News Radio. On the air, online, or on demand, make it a point to catch the first word on Wisconsin news, sports, and more weekday mornings from 6 to 8 all across the stations of the Civic Media Radio Network.
Join me, Stephanie Miller, and the entire Sexy Liberal Resistance every morning from 8 to 11 for the Stephanie Miller Show right here on 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM. Listen live Monday through Friday on Devil Radio, Wisconsin's home for progressive news talk radio.
Devil Radio programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty Studios. Find them at solidarityrealty.com. Solidarity Realty.
Warning. You are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, should we call it Friday Eve? We've almost made it through the week.
It is Friday Eve. We can absolutely call it Friday Eve.
Is the Thursday Happier Happy Hour. I feel so happy, Dom. I've adorned myself with strange and unusual headgear. I am wearing not just my normal Homer Badger hat, representative of the state I love, but also I got the political cheese head on.
You got the cheese wedge, man.
And I think it's the perfect marriage today because in hour number one, we learned the GOP are bringing a Republican presidential debate to Milwaukee. I'm excited, Tom, much less so because he lives in Milwaukee and I just get to come down and visit.
No, I'm fine for the presidential debate. It's the RNC that I'm not so thrilled about.
Well, the presidential debate, in all probability, Dom, will be this summer. Although that's not confirmed yet. We're predicting this summer. Summer in Milwaukee is glorious.
It is. Nowhere better in the world.
When the Republicans come to Milwaukee, less so. But the big RNC, the convention, will be July 15th through 18th of 2024. And Dom, I got this very cheese head I wear on my head from former Milwaukee mayor, now ambassador to Luxembourg, Tom Barrett. Tom would not wear his cheese head as part of the Wisconsin delegation at the 2016 DNC in Philly. That was a party and
that was a good party.
The Republican affair, strangely, they didn't go out. They didn't party as much. That was the understanding. And the locals trying to find salvation, looking for a silver lining, said the only ones doing really well during the RNC convention, male prostitutes.
Making a killing during the convention, huh?
Gay male prostitutes apparently did very well in Cleveland during the Republican convention. The rest of the service industry, less so.
Well, lots of security, lots of, gates and fencing put up, tall fencing, and they funnel you in and funnel you out. And you can only go to certain spots at certain times. So, the Winkin' Lizard, while it was probably as busy as any of the bars around there, still not doing as great as they wanted.
Well, except for us. We made it palatable, I would think.
Always, man.
We certainly ran up a bar tab. So I got this cheesehead at the DNC in 2016, the RNC coming to Milwaukee in 2024, and the gravedigger, former Packer Hall of Famer, Gilbert Brown, the big announcement in the last hour, he and Earl Ingram announced Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger. It's going to launch right here on the Civic Media Network. In lieu of the Earl Ingram show, doing a tandem special, launching Monday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then we'll replay it across the network next Saturday. But for our friends across the NFC North that are just joining right now, the Gravedigger pointed out he basically owned the entire division, especially you, WCPT, 820 AM listeners in Chicago. He said during the course of his career, he never lost to Chicago. And if the Packers lost to Chicago, he was not on the team at that time. He was out injured or sick or, maybe skipping. Dom often does that. 844-967-2789. So anyways, just having a little fun, being a homer.
That's super cool. Here. So now Earl does what, 8 to 11? So that first hour on Mondays will be just Earl and Gilbert Brown.
He's going to have a separate show open, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The Gravedigger gets a professional show open.
Nice.
Earl gets
then
Marvin Gaye
Earl
song.
just do 2 hours then that day.
Well, after the gravedigger
After the
leaves, he'll do
Gilbert,
2 hours of politics or whatever it is Earl does on a particular day, because it's a cornucopia of topics Earl brings.
You're welcome.
But I don't think he ever sported a Badger hat with a cheese wedge and then some broadcast headphones, quite like I'm doing now. But this is exactly, along with my drinking Wisconsin shirt. I'm not wearing that now. Got a sweater on today, kind of fashionable, with the hat and the sweater.
Yeah,
but I did wear this combination, same style Badger cap and the cheese wedge. Wore it proudly across the DNC, and it was acknowledged. Do you know the people that have signed this hat? Everyone from Greta Van Susteren to the very beautiful, then dating Cory Booker, I believe, Rosario Dawson.
Wow. Did I sign it?
No, you were not asked or
I didn't
permitted to
it.
sign.
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
You can sign the door here if you ever come to Madison. Why don't you come tomorrow? Do you know what we're doing tomorrow, people?
Yeah, we're killing the Devil Radio brand.
Yeah, we're gonna kill the brand, and then I think we should kill some booze. But you in town? What are you doing tomorrow?
No, I got a concert tomorrow night.
Oh, who are you seeing tomorrow, man? You do live the life of Riley.
I don't know, man.
You go to so many concerts. Surprise concerts? They just have pop-ups in your backyard.
Yeah, it's called So Far, and so they'll do local up and coming artists, or just up and coming, not even necessarily local, and they'll pop up in different spots. Could be a bowling alley or a brewery or what. You don't really know until a couple of days before, and then it's like bang, it's in and out. It's a concert, a couple of artists, and then that's it. So it's super cool. It comes around. I try to get to them when I can.
We're not killing this show so much because something's got to fund Dom's pursuit of daily concerts. But the Devil Radio brand, we're going to kill tomorrow about 6 o'clock.
The radio station in Madison right now is called Devil Radio, and that's not going to. So tomorrow is when the big announcement of what the
Devil
new name
Radio
will be.
is dead tomorrow,
and you're prepared to share with everybody what the new name is today or tomorrow. When's that come out?
You gotta listen, man.
Oh, okay.
I can't give away tomorrow's show on today's show. Then why would the people tune in for tomorrow?
The same reason they tune in every day, for great conversation, banter, and top-notch political analysis of the headlines. That's why, and because we're super cool.
And Dom, let's go to some of the political headlines of the hour, Dom. Perhaps I'll shed a hat or two. AOC, the fight, the point of contention in D.C. 3 Democrats have been stripped from their committee assignments. And we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene, your girl, Three-Toe Green, was stripped of her committee assignments by the Dems in the last Congress. Well, now she's a Kevin McCarthy supporter. She's like Main Street on the GOP side.
Now. Yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene is mainstream. Matt Gaetz is mainstream. These people are now what the Republican Party is, and by evidence of them getting these committee, that's who McCarthy is putting forward as the future, the leaders of your mega GOP.
I'd wear this sort of headwear to the Republican GOP presidential debate in Milwaukee this summer, but it would probably clash with Marjorie Taylor Greene's tinfoil hat. See what I did there? Let's play AOC talking about Ilhan Omar. The congresswoman from Minnesota was stripped from the Foreign Affairs Committee. And there was some talk that there wasn't enough support amongst the Republican caucus to actually strip her of this assignment. And the cover they're using is that she said anti-Semitic things. But I would point out, even if Ilhan Omar has said anti-Semitic things, she admits that the quote-unquote tropes she used are associated with Jewish people. Effectively, she talked about dollar bills and Jewish people, something of that sort. And she said she didn't know. Now, I heard on Righty Whitey Talk Radio, they said, I think they accused her of being Puerto Rican, or maybe they meant AOC, because AOC is who responded. But Ilhan Omar is Somalian, I believe, by ethnicity.
Yes.
An immigrant to this country. And now she has been stripped of her position on the Foreign Relations Committee.
And she's a Muslim. Let's not forget that as well, as Republicans will probably be quick to remind you.
And really, Matt Gaetz has let the quiet part out. He said this is a tit for tat They meant to do this. This is retribution. Play AOC. She's not liking it.
As a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, AOC. Way to lay it out.
Kind of sounds like you ranting, Don. And I say that in the best sort of way.
Yeah, I mean she's right on. I mean, what was the cause? Why did Marjorie Taylor Greene get kicked off of their committees? What for advocating violence against other members of Congress? Really? And AOC mentioned specifically, I think maybe it was Paul Gosar who put out the tweet that was a cartoon of AOC getting shot, something like that. I mean, yes, that kind of behavior by sitting members of Congress should be condemned all the time, every time. They were justified. And now, again, as we character, right, the up-and-comers, the mega in Congress, well, there they are. They're back. Jewish space lady, she's there. Jewish George Santos, if that's your real name, he's there. They're still there.
Dominic, the party line vote, this took an act of the entire Congress, 218 to 211. All the Republicans were down for this. Every frickin' one. So don't act like there's some moderate Republicans, some mainliners. No, the entire caucus had to vote to strip this woman out of retribution for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. We will take our retribution next on the phones at 844-967-2789.
Women hear a lot about self-care these days. Advice on ways to relax, exercise, eat healthy, and more. Those are all great. But one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. That means saving money for retirement. It's never too late to start, and it's the kind of self-care that brings peace of mind that lasts. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
The conservative dating app, The Right Stuff, is failing 3 months after launch. In October, the app, The Right Stuff, had just 11,000 downloads.
The profile creation process also asks users to list their thoughts about the January 6th Capitol riots. 2 reviewers claimed that FBI and police officers visited their homes after filling out their profiles.
The political party that is the Devil's Advocates radio show, live weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m.
Look through your children's eyes, and you will discover the true magic of a forest.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Weather brought to you by Madison's first Shop Local bus tour, presented by Madison Top Company. The fun begins Sunday, February 12th with Galentine, powered by Wibbick. Grab your tickets today at DaneByLocal.com and experience local by bus.
Here's your Devil Radio forecast. A wind chill advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Lows level off around 8 below tonight under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mainly sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 6 above. Lows dip down to about 2 above tomorrow night. Partly cloudy skies. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 17 degrees.
The Devil's Advocates. Because freedom.
You really got me going.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines open 844-967-2789.
This is how the Republicans are going to play it. We'll have investigations of Hunter Biden. We'll have retribution against sitting congresspeople in good standing who haven't demonstrated the same sort of conduct that, of course, the very Republicans have. And on Righty Whitey Talk Radio, they basically are crowing about this. Man, do you see how we own the libs today? Do you see how we stuck it to the squad and
great
AOC?
Sense of governing, fellas.
Is this somehow advancing the cause? Are Republicans somehow moving closer to electoral dominance in 2024? Is this what the people are clamoring for? I'm just wondering. 844-967-2789. A friendly face, or at least on the phones. Jeannie. I'll get to you in a moment, Jeannie. Crudy, slow on the tech. Jeannie, welcome from Eau Claire.
Hey, Jeannie.
Hi, guys. Well, I love your new shows. You guys have a great variety. I mean, I love listening to all of your shows because they're just outstanding, and you guys are doing an outstanding job. Thank you so much for all you're doing. I saw what happened to the lovely neighbor in Minnesota there. I was sickened, and I thought, good for you, AOC, and what they did to her. I mean, come on, what they did to AOC. I can't believe, like the dirty, rotten, putrid stuff they had when she went down to see the kids, that were being separated from their parents. There was dirty things sent out about her. I mean, those Republicans really go after women and minority women. And I think it's because they can feel really manly and tough. And it makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, even the abortion laws that they made, or the health care laws forcing women to be pregnant, and then not helping people with kids or food or anything like that after children are born. And then going after the schools who are trying to educate people so they can move up in life and make more money. But these are son of a gun and people that were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, up there fooling around, not taking their job seriously, and then with the debt ceiling. What a bunch of pukes. I have to tell you, it's like these guys are taking out the United States from the inside out. You don't need people bombing America. You got those people that are in there trying to destroy our country from the inside out. And it happened in Wisconsin, and you guys are helping to build it back. And they took lessons, the Republicans, from Walker to go and destroy what's happening in our federal government. And it's you guys, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm 68, and I never seen anything like this in my life, ever. And I talked to my 88-year-old mom. She can't believe what's going on in our country. So I hope people wake up, and by your educating everybody, that's a gift. And thank you so much for what you're doing, guys. I didn't mean to go on and on and on, but boy,
Quite a rant, Jeannie. We appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Jeannie, always such a pleasant caller. For our side, not for the other side.
The good side. Let me throw this one out there as well. And thank you for the call, Jeannie.
Go ahead.
The Hill reporting that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he pulled Senator Rick Scott, again, the Republican from Florida, who tried to oust McConnell as the Senate's top Republican in a bruising leadership race. He pulled him off the powerful Commerce Committee. McConnell also removed Mike Lee, who supported Scott's bid to replace McConnell as leader, from the Commerce Panel, which has broad jurisdiction over a swath of federal agencies. So McConnell had a leadership bite, and he just pulled two Republicans off of their committees, Scott and Mike Lee. I mean, that's a political move as well. These are all political moves, right? They do it to each other. They do it to their own side. There's retribution. There's a price to be paid for your disloyalty.
Matt Gaetz, of all people, contradicts Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, and says removing Ilhan Omar was a tit for tat for Marjorie Taylor Greene. said the quiet part out loud. Here's a little bit more of what he said. Rep. Matt Gaetz confirmed on Thursday that the decision to remove Rep. Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota, was a committee tit-for-tat retribution after 2 Republicans were punished in an earlier Congress. Following his vote to remove Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, Gaetz told viewers of his Firebrand podcast, everybody's a podcaster, Dom, that it had not been a good feeling. Makes him feel dirty. I can't say it was the best feeling in the world to look at speech as some sort of threshold for someone's participation in the political process. Frankly, if Ilhan Omar hadn't voted against Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar, I might have viewed things differently. Maybe the only way we get past this and stop this tit for tat is to once and for all end it, he added. So I voted with the speaker. I believe Speaker Kevin McCarthy deserved deference on this matter. Well, it just shows you're a dumbass. A little bit more from the dumbass. I mean, Congressman from Florida. Gaetz worried that the next Congress could also remove members from committees over their remarks. I'm going to be the one they come for, he said. I'm going to say something edgy or not aligned with the dogma of the day in the Armed Services Committee or the Judiciary Committee. And they'll say, oh, Gaetz is promoting gun violence because he believes in the Second Amendment. For his part, McCarthy has said Omar's removal from the committee was not retribution or tit-for-tat politics. Yeah, but we all know he's lying. And he's such a bad leader, transparently bad.
Crudy the Hill is also reporting that McCarthy said he is tasking a bipartisan group of lawmakers with writing a code of conduct for House members after representatives of both parties expressed concerns about removing members from congressional committees.
What if you commit a coup d'etat against the federal government? Should you be able to serve in the very same government you want to overthrow for the benefit of the Cheeto Messiah? I mean, really, you've got a number of Republicans, probably 35, that face federal indictment on a variety of charges, not the least of which will probably be seditious conspiracy, because they were all in on it, at least a large number. Think Marjorie Taylor Greene, perhaps. Certainly look at Paul Gosar. He was in on it. Come back. You can be in on it. Call us, 844-96-PARTY.
Friends don't let friends spread fake news. Make sure to follow Devil Radio on Facebook and Twitter and stay up to date with the most important stories of the day.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. So far, no agreement on solving the debt ceiling crisis, even after President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's sit-down yesterday.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's expecting a phone call from Biden to set up their next meeting on the debt limit. But he's also making clear that Republicans won't budge on their demands.
Whichever way they want to talk about it, I'm very clear. We will not pass a clean debt ceiling here without some form of spending reform.
Biden saying it was, quote, a good meeting and that talks would continue. Ann Flaherty, ABC News, Washington.
House Republicans voted to block Representative Ilhan Omar from sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee over her tweets in 2019 that were seen as anti-Semitic. Democrats called it a political stunt. The wave of winter storms has led to tens of thousands of power outages in Texas and 8 deaths due to accidents on icy roads. The storm system stretches to the East Coast. Stocks closed higher due to a surge for tech shares, including Facebook's parent company, Meta. This is ABC News.
I find your lack of Devil Radio 92.7 disturbing. Do not fail me again.
This is Pat Kreitlow from Up North News Radio. What a busy time this has been for Republicans to lay out their vision, their priorities, and plans. In Tennessee, that includes a bill with a 6-year prison term for performing in multiple drag shows. In Florida, during Black History Month, they're making progress in banning the ability to teach freely about Black history. They're also banning books. In Arkansas, they're banning words. In Missouri, they're banning women in the legislature from having bare shoulders. And in Wisconsin, they blocked a ban on child torture known as conversion therapy. Across the 50 states, more than 200 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced. And the debt ceiling debate threatens to wreck the economic recovery, but Republicans won't say what they would cut. What's missing? Anything about your economic situation, the thing they said over and over last year, would be their focus. it was never going to be. I'm Pat Kreitlow.
The Civic Media team would like to say congratulations. More than 200 Wisconsin businesses and nonprofits are receiving a free advertising campaign through our one-day $1 million advertising giveaway. If you missed out, our local sales team would still love to help you with your own campaign. Go to civicmedia.us and click on the sponsorship tab. Again, civicmedia.us and sponsorship. New and still growing, advertise today with the Civic Media network of radio stations.
Hey folks, Stephanie Miller here. As an enlightened progressive, you know how important it is to do business in accordance with your politics. That's why Solidarity Realty is my favorite real estate firm in Madison. Solidarity Realty is a local independent realty company that lives their values. They provide outstanding expertise and protect your best interests while building community and promoting sustainability and diversity. Vive la resistance! Find them today at solidarityrealty.com. And don't forget, tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News. On an earlier edition, we talked to 3 women, med students, about whether they're going to stay in Wisconsin to practice medicine.
All this Roe v. Wade stuff, and now OBGYN's hands are so tied. I don't want to go through 12 years of training to have some person that didn't do training tell me how to do my job.
It is not a binary choice, you're for or against abortion. It is a healthcare decision. We all have those stories, and people want to hear them.
Don't miss the real stories here on Up North News.
Being a father is an honor, a challenge, a duty, a celebration, and a testimony. I want to be legendary for you because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Think you know politics? Think again. Welcome to the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back. I don't know how we merit the Kenny Rogers today. We are the Devil's Advocates. I got to think who we are now. You got me all thrown off with this 1970s country music. I mean, I like the tune okay, I guess, amongst the country tunes I've listened to in this life I've lived. Riding around on the rails as a hobo, playing poker and such.
My favorite country musicians are Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty.
And neither one, of course, are country by most people's definition. But what do you know? If it ain't Anthrax, it doesn't rock. Don, we'll get to the phones in just a minute. Despite my better judgment, because I see you in the queue, CJ. Beat me to the punch. Give me some alternatives at 844-967-2789. I may harm the entire audience by taking CJ otherwise. Hold on, CJ. Let's see what we decide. But Dom, the tit for tat behavior, the retribution coming down in the house. I would point out, I got a little email here from the, what's this called? The Make American Great Again.
Oh, God.
The Trump supportive, right? I think it's a super PAC. Let me make sure. I guess it's the MAGA PAC. And here's what they're saying today. And let's not forget, no one's even really jumped in the race against Donald Trump yet. But they don't have to catch the ire of MAGA PAC. Here's what Republicans are saying of their own before they even declare. Conservatives slammed Nikki Haley as a warmonger and part of the problem following the news that she is set to announce a run for president. Newsmax host Greg Kelly called out Nikki Haley for previously saying she wouldn't run for president if President Trump runs. Kelly said this means her candidacy is doomed. Fox News host Tucker Carlson said that Haley endorsed the Black Lives Matter riots. I guess Tucker doesn't like her. Who else? Steve Bannon, podcaster extraordinaire, Dom, remarked that Haley is part of the problem. And Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk said on his show that Nikki Haley is a cheerleader for the military-industrial complex. I thought the entire party was, Dom. Really, Republicans, when did you guys stop liking a good war? Since
when they started loving Russia, man. Pooty Poot, man. He's their guy. You remember Helsinki? Right? You remember? I mean,
the hand job Trump gave Putin.
The megas are all about Putin. They love that stuff, man. They a strong man like that. Hell, cashing those checks, taking that money.
I don't know why he would, though.
Exactly.
I got a little local news to throw out there as well, Dom. I call this local, Wisconsin related. The wrongful death lawsuit upheld after a 100-hour search to serve Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, there is a wrongful death lawsuit that's being served upon him. And I guess he was hiding them. Or at least this Kyle Rittenhouse character doesn't make himself easy to find.
Well, but he's all over the place, right? He's all over Twitter. He's always complaining every time someone cancels once they realize who's coming to the event at their brewery or whatever event hall that they're trying to do this, Second Amendment God. That's what he is now. He hawks guns. That's his thing.
Well, the good news is he actually has some form of income for when he loses a wrongful death lawsuit. There will be a collectible action against him. But here's how it's reported. Kyle Rittenhouse, who skyrocketed to fame in right-wing circles after shooting and killing 2 protesters during a social rights march in 2020. Well, I'm not sure if it was a social rights march at that point. Kenosha, Wisconsin, the setting, is now facing a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the victim's father, according to PBS. The lawsuit was filed by John Huber, the father of one of the 2 victims, and also includes city officials and police officers. U.S. District Judge Lynn Edelman dismissed motions from city officials, police officers, and Rittenhouse to dismiss the civil rights case in its entirety. Huber's lawsuit states that Rittenhouse conspired with police officers to intentionally cause harm to protesters who were marching in reaction to the shooting of Jacob Blake, who was injured by a Wisconsin police officer. Injured many times with many bullets.
Injured as the guy was walking away into his car. The police officer grabbed his shirt and shot him in the back 6 or 7 times. Yeah, that's an injury.
Rittenhouse, an Illinois resident, drove to the demonstrations. Not really. Did his mom bring him? I thought his mom brought him up. Drove to the demonstrations in Wisconsin and was a minor of age 17 at the time. In the ruling, Edelman said Huber's death could plausibly be regarded as having been proximately caused by the actions of the government defendants. Huber was killed after Rittenhouse was running after he was shot and killed his first victim in the parking lot of a car dealership. And Huber hit Rittenhouse with the skateboard to disarm him. After falling to the ground, Rittenhouse fatally shot Huber and wounded another protester, Gage Grugkreutz, who also filed a civil rights lawsuit against Rittenhouse. Here's the important part, at least to this story. Huber's lawyers and private investigators needed over 100 hours to locate Rittenhouse to serve him with the civil lawsuit paperwork, eventually serving him at his sister's house. Rittenhouse's lawyers tried to argue the case should be dismissed because he was not properly served. The judge, Edelman in this case, Tom, dismissed that claim. And Rittenhouse, if you don't know, he's become popular. He's a celebrity. Right-wing speaker at public events and has nearly 1 million followers on Twitter, for whatever that's worth. I don't follow him, Dom. You probably do.
No, we do not at Devil Radio. That's our Twitter handle. You can follow us. We do not follow him. Yes, the AP reporting, Scott Bauer also, the judge, Edelman. Rittenhouse has been deliberately cagey about his whereabouts. Although he denies living in Florida, he does not identify the place that he deems to be his residence. So
I thought he enrolled at community college or not.
So much for taking responsibility for your actions. So good. That's good news. Good. Sue him. Sue him into oblivion.
844-967-2789. CJ, you gave up your place in the queue, and now you're in the back of the line. Fortunately for the rest of us, Chris from Sun Prairie, that means you're next.
Hi, Chris.
Hey. So this is the same thing he did before, isn't it? They couldn't find him the last time when he was on trial here. He was nowhere to be found.
I feel like he was out on bail. And
right, but nobody could find him.
Well, that part is true. But I mean, I think it was before the trial. I think it was during the pre-trial period when he was on bail. And it was discovered that he was not at the residence that he had disclosed that would be the residence of custody of whatever. He was kind of under house arrest, I think. And then I believe he was actually taken into custody for a period of time, Chris. He was in jail for a period of time. And then Trump lawyer Lynn Wood got Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoons involved and raising millions to bail him out. And let's not forget, Chris, he effectively won at trial. So he won the right to get his bail money back. The money that was raised from a bunch of people that apparently support shooting marchers at this protest. So I think Rittenhouse has some claim to the millions, and the wrongful death lawsuits, I think, may have not just merit, but also some payback for the plaintiffs in these cases.
Well, I hope so. I hope so, because he shouldn't be allowed to keep any money for doing what he did. He should be in jail. He really should.
Well, apparently
I really
not jail,
want...
Chris. I mean, I think he should as well. And we all know how the trial went. We know that he was, I guess, let's say, vindicated at trial. He was found not guilty by reason of what? Self-defense. And in the moment, I believe he probably felt like he was defending himself, but he, of course, put himself as a minor using a AR-15, had put himself in this position at his own volition, of his own desire to what? Go protect a car dealership that nobody asked him to protect?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, you talk about right place or wrong place at the wrong time. If you purposefully put yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time and danger finds you, I don't know if self-defense should be your claim, but obviously it worked in court this time, Chris.
Well, and I think, Chris,
I don't think
if I recall, the judge made some questionable rulings and comments from the bench as well. Yeah, so it's a tough situation. It is what it is. I guess that they'll have to lay there. But a wrongful death lawsuit would be, something better than nothing.
Hey, can I just quickly say bye to Devil Radio? I'm going to miss your Devil Radio, and I just want to acknowledge that. I know that, been here for a long time, and just wanted to say my last goodbyes.
Aww.
I look forward to your new radio station. I can't wait to see what the name is and what your new moniker is. So looking forward to that.
I hope you enjoy the Christmas music nearly as much as we did on WXXM.
Well, that's terrible, man. I still got some emotional problems from all that, Chris.
A little PTSD, Chris.
Right.
At least we had a countdown. We saw our death coming. It's rare in this life that your boss says you're fired, but you got 10 days to pack your stuff, and we're going to let you do a radio show. And of course, we didn't even work there. That's the worst part, Chris. They just quit cashing our checks.
Your money's no good here.
Effectively, that's how it went.
Yeah.
Those were crazy
Well,
days, Chris. I look forward to seeing you, my friend, at the Wisconsin Grassroots Network event on March 18th at Wisconsin Heights High School. And we've been there through the years with you guys a lot of times. Now, I didn't get bumped off the speaker schedule because I didn't give you a complete enough outline, did I, Chris?
No, you didn't. No.
I barely prepped for the show.
I know you're real busy.
You know I can't give you the questions. I'm not down in Brazil over here.
Yeah, just a meeting would be nice.
Chris, you can call me anytime. You can find me in one place. 844-967-2789. That's why I keep moving like Kyle Rittenhouse. People always want a piece of Crudy's ass.
Well, imagine a guy shows up with a rifle, starts using the rifle, and other innocent people around him are going, "Oh my goodness, this guy is shooting people. Maybe we should do something to stop him." And then he shoots them. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. 844-967-2789.
You mean
Jim?
he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, Dom?
Jim from Madison, you're up. Welcome. What do you got for us?
Hello,
Jim. There we go.
Appleton. Yeah, there we go.
Jim from Appleton. Sorry, man. I got Madison on the board here. Yeah, go ahead, Jim. How you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing okay. Kyle Rittenhouse, I think that was a bad decision to not criminally prosecute him. And I do hope that the civil court cases are successful.
Well, he was prosecuted, Jim. He just was not convicted at trial. And if you recall the OJ thing, neither was OJ. But eventually, he lost the wrongful death suits and, will be chased by the Goldmans for his last nickel for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Isn't he back in jail for fraud?
He might
OJ.
be back out of jail. He was like stealing some of his own sports paraphernalia back from someone in a violent manner. I don't know, man. I couldn't imagine going to like an autograph signing in partnership with the Juice at this late hour. I just couldn't see selling memorabilia with the guy. Dom's a difficult business partner, but as far as I can tell, he never killed anybody.
As far as you know, Jim.
As far as I know. And I will miss the Devil's Radio because that's how I found you guys, was on Devil's Radio. And I'm already missing Mike on Saturdays. Good old Pizza Box.
We'll find a place. I got a place for Pizza Box. I'll tell you about it next week. We'll bring him on the air and we'll preview his new time and place. But he's a fan favorite. He's like Cheeto Mussolini. He's got a cult following out there in the world.
That's awesome. So we're gonna call it WDOM?
No.
Oh, okay. What should we call it? Are we taking customer listener input?
Well, they can tell me whatever they want, but no one even asked me from around here at Civic Media, so I don't think it matters. My input didn't matter. Come back, more Devils.
Plenty of people start something great in their 40s and 50s. Getting your retirement savings on track is no different. Go to aceyourretirement.org and in 3 minutes you'll get personalized tips to help boost your retirement savings. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
But do you think the Biden administration's called up Laura Ingraham and making the announcement to the world that we're invading Russia with amphibious troops? Come on, Trump. I mean, and I want to hear fine Trumpsters that want to defend that crap. He's a little late for the early bird buffet. Maybe you people were just naive marks who believed he was a super genius. Then I got some land I'd like to sell you outside of Fukushima.
Check out the entire podcast library at darnwi.com.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Weather brought to you by Madison's first Shop Local bus tour, presented by Madison Top Company and created by Dane Buy Local. Gallon time is set for Sunday, February 12th from noon till 4. Bus seating is limited, so visit DaneBuyLocal.com and get your tickets today.
Here's your Devil Radio forecast. A wind chill advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Lows level off around 8 below tonight under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mainly sunny skies and calm tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 6 above. Lows dip down to about 2 above tomorrow night. Partly cloudy skies. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 17 degrees.
The Devil's Advocates know how to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and we're all out of bubblegum.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. If you got something to say, hit us up right now. We'll get you on at 844-967-2789.
Dom, a couple of political updates. We've got a Wisconsin Supreme Court race. We've also got a state Senate special election happening in the great state of Wisconsin. Couple of quick updates. The Dan Kelly supportive super PAC, Fair Courts America, dropping $500,000 in a TV buy for Dan Kelly. The ads will mirror the ones you've heard here on Devil Radio. I wonder if they're going to be sad if the ads they bought on Devil Radio won't continue to play on Devil Radio. And
I mean, they bought Devil Radio. I mean, now they should probably have a bump up.
It just won't be the same.
It won't.
The ad mirrors the $250,000 radio campaign the group launched last week. The narrator warns Madison liberals are trying to take over the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Trudy says, yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we could. This election can give us control of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Absolutely true. And as the ad will tell us, that's why conservative Justice Dan Kelly needs to be elected. Well, I disagree, but the ad tells the truth. Now, Doro, she also announced to buy a little more modest, her buy 60 G's on the TV. That's not going to buy you many flights. And 70 grand on radio. She ain't buying around here. Protasewicz, a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge last month, launched more than a $700,000 TV buy. I know she's also up on the radio, Protasewicz. Haven't heard from Mitchell yet. And two national groups are starting more than $208,000 in independent expenditures in the 8th Special District, Senate District Special Election. And Dom, one national group is backing Dan Knodel, and the other is opposing his rival, Janelle Branchen. Man, she can't win. She could win, though. If you voted for you, Dom, you get a vote in that primary, right?
I do have a vote in that primary, and I'm not voting for either one of them. I'm voting for Jody Habish-Sinekin.
That news brought to us by our friends at wispolitics.com. They also report Republicans are bringing a presidential debate to Milwaukee, possibly as soon as this summer. 844-967-2789. LA Tom, how you been, man?
Hey, Tom.
I like getting the text from you and the videos and everything, Tom. You're an entertaining fellow.
You like that one, huh? With Dave Grohl?
I did. Calling himself
Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. That was funny stuff, Tom.
Exactly. Anyway, we the people ultimately are the government, and we must never forget that. It goes for everybody out there, left, right. We're all the government. And I was wondering, Critty, you're going to be calling this thing Freedom Radio? Freedom?
WDOM would make sense.
That's right, baby. All the freedom you can take.
Tom, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Trudy was not consulted. I'm a little too emotionally invested in the Devil Radio brand. I have strong feelings, and I was being a little destructive in the branding meetings. So much like a Democratic congressperson on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I was disinvited. I got the Ilhan Omar treatment. I don't even know what the brand is officially, Tom. You'll have to ask somebody on Monday.
Animal from the Muppets?
What's that?
Like Animal from the Muppets going crazy? Were you like Animal from the Muppets?
Well, usually, Tom. A little Rumpelstiltskinish.
That's right.
But,
absolutely.
Although Dom did come up with the Devil's Advocates, and Dom is, the more satanic of the two in that he's a pagan, and he loves heavy metal
That's
music.
a contradictory term. I mean, technically, Satan is a Christian god. Pagans would not recognize such a thing.
How do you know Satan's a Christian guy? Do you talk to him lately, fella?
Is he mentioned in the Christian Bible, Crudy? Pretty sure that's where he's mentioned. I haven't heard. I don't follow it all, but I know it's one of them's there.
Tom, I've even seen the devil mentioned in a couple of movies and radio and TV, but no longer on this station. Not after tomorrow at 6.
Well, we can all mention the word somewhere along the line, I'm sure.
Well, if you want to tweet at us, you've got to tweet at us. Although I don't often read the tweets, but Dom tweets.
No, that's
at Devil Radio.
Yeah.
So in some twisted way, it will live on.
Freedom.
If only you had been in the branding meetings, Tom, making that strong appeal.
I know, right? Exactly.
That was probably on the list, Tom.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
all right,
buddy.
thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Out in L.A., the leftist coast, 844-967-2789. A few minutes left. Rico, you're next. Welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Rico.
Hey, how you guys doing? Glad
Good,
to hear
man.
Pizza Box is coming back. Glad to hear about Pizza Box. Hey, this whole name, the Devil's Advocate radio show, and the name thing coming down, I kind of get this. And I'll tell you why, guys, is because sometimes when I'm going to date myself here, sometimes when I'm trying to turn people on to the Devil's Advocate radio show, the whole name can be like a stumbling block with certain people right off the bat, It's hard to get them past the name, even to get them to listen sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. That's all I want to say about that. I want to get deep into it. But you know what I'm saying there.
No, I get it. Some people may have a visceral reaction if you talk about the devil. I mean, I can understand that if you're weak-minded. And
Rico, where were you when me and Kathy were drinking wine and making up brands on the back porch that one summer day?
I don't know. I might have been right there with you. Who knows?
So blurry.
Hey, I wanted to say something. About this Rittenhouse thing. I watched the whole trial, guys. I'll tell you what, the medical examiner sewed the whole thing up. The last shot that Kyle fired into Joseph Rosenbaum, who was the first victim and where it all got started, the last shot into that man was in his back. The other 3 shots, 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 shots, they testified the hospital was across the street. He possibly would have lived. It was the last shot that killed him, and that went to the back. And I'll tell you what, in the Wild West days, guys, a shot to the back was as good as a guilty plea right there, right?
Yeah, right,
you can't claim self-defense. No self-defense now, guys. And if I took up all of CJ's time, I hope so, because all we were going to hear about is Afghanistan, the border, and Hunter's laptop.
Benghazi!
I already heard about yeah, Benghazi. Don't forget Benghazi. And you know what? You need to get some new stuff, dude. We're trying to hear you're like a repeat. You're on repeat all the time. Same 3 issues you come back to. Get some new material, guy. And if I'll just keep right on talking until I take every minute of the time up.
You go right through and filibuster if necessary, Rico.
Pizza box is coming back. That's the main thing. There you go.
Rico, appreciate your call. Thank you for being a listener and a filibusterer. CJ would love to go to you next, but Rico stole all your time, man.
Maybe tomorrow, man.
Never
Friday.
get out of the queue, CJ.
Right.
Stick around. Raised in the Wisco with Joel Clayfish coming up all across the Civic Media Network. In the meantime, Native Roots Radio. Don't forget, keep it locked. Civic Media, the greatest programming, political and otherwise, in the world.
Madison liberals want to take over the Wisconsin Supreme Court to impose their radical agenda on us.